Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gretchen and today I am here to talk about my final rankings for this year's Women's Prize for Fiction and Nonfiction, and also talk about the predicted winners that I have for each of those prizes. So they are going to be announcing the winner this upcoming Thursday. I believe the date is June 12th, and I can't believe that we're already at the time where they're going to be announcing the winner. It felt like such a far off date, but here we are. I can't believe that this year is going as fast as it is. It's crazy, but here we are. I'm also combining both of them into one video. I know that not everybody follows both prizes, but just for my sake, so I only have to film one video, I'm going to include them. And also just be aware, I'm not going to be talking in detail about the books. I'm just talking about my rankings. I did individual reviews for each of these books already, and I will link them below in case you want to get any specifics about each of them. But this book is literally just going to be announcing the books that are on the short list and then ranking them in my order of preference and ultimately determining what book I think is going to be the winner. So let's go ahead and start with nonfiction. So if you're not following the prize, or if you are, just a reminder about the 6 books that are on this year's short list. We have 1,000 Threads by Nana Cherry, which is a memoir. We have The Story of a Heart by Rachel Clark. We have Raising Hair by Chloe Dalton, which is another memoir. We have Agent Zoe by Claire Mully. We have What the Wild Seas Can Be by Helen Scales. And we have Private Revolutions by Yuan Yang. Now, as far as these books go, I think in comparing nonfiction to fiction, it's actually really difficult for me to even determine a personal preference of these nonfiction books. I think depending on the day, I could give you a completely different list. I don't think there were any books on this list this year that were just mid for me. I enjoyed every single one of them. And the other thing about the nonfiction prize is that it's different because you really do get a wide range of different types of nonfiction. You have your more memoir-based books, you have your more scientific books, you have your more historical or biographical type books, and it's really difficult to have all of those in one group and compare them because it doesn't really feel like you're comparing apples to apples. So depending on what mood I'm in, you could ask me tomorrow and I could give you a completely different order of preference, but I'm going to start with my number 6, which was Private Revolutions. My number 5 is What the Wild Seas Can Be, and my number 4 is Agent Zoe. Now, I'm going to stop before I get into my 1, 2, and 3 because as hard as it was to put a group of 6 together, it's extra difficult for me with these last 3 because I absolutely loved all 3 of these books, and it's really tough to determine what the order is. So today, just because it's Sunday and it's raining and the wind is coming from the west and any other random thing, my personal preference today is Raising Hair at my number 3, The Story of the Heart at my number 2, and 1,000 Threads by Nana Cherry. I was blown away by this memoir. Nana Cherry is a figure that I really knew nothing about. I knew very minimal about her going in, but this was one of the most fascinating and complete and diverse memoirs that I have ever read, and I just have to give her the crown today. And as far as the one that I think is going to be the overall winner and take that prize on Thursday, my guess guess is that the winner is going to be Raising Hair. Now, that being said, I don't say this to sound rude or mean, I don't care who wins the nonfiction prize because I'm going to be happy for them, because all of these books deserve to be on the list, I think. All of them are good in their own right. They can all stand alone in my mind as a winner, and I am just really grateful that we have a prize like this that gives us, or gave me, because I obviously can't speak for anyone else that has been reading the short list, but all of these books were worth my time, and I am just so glad that we now have a nonfiction prize, because last year I was blown away and this year I'm even more impressed. So I am already looking forward to next year's nonfiction prize. Fiction, we have a little bit of a rocky relationship at the moment between some things that happened last year and this year, but ultimately I am totally a fan of this nonfiction prize, and I'm really looking forward to next year. So closing the chapter on nonfiction, let's move on to the fiction books. Now, just as a reminder, if you are following the fiction prize, or if you're not, we also have 6 books that are shortlisted for that as well. We have Good Girl by Aria Aber. We have All Fours by Miranda July. We have The Persians by Sanam Maluji. We have Tell Me Everything by Elizabeth Strout. We have The Safe Keep by Yael Vandervelden. And we also have Fundamentally by Nusaiba Yunus. Now, once again, it's difficult to determine the order of what I want these books to be in. Now, the only exception to that is my number 6 book. If you follow my channel, you know that it's no surprise. I personally did not get along with All Fours, so All Fours is in my personal ranking at my number 6. My number 5 book, I decided on The Persians. My number 4 book is Fundamentally, and my number 3 book is Tell Me Everything by Elizabeth Strout. Now, for my number 1 and my number 2, I ended up going with Good Girl as my number 2 and The Safe Keep as my number 1. The Safe Keep was shortlisted for the Booker last year. I absolutely loved this book, so it didn't win the Booker last year, so I was so happy to see that it still has a little bit of life in it, and it might take, it still has that one chance to take one of those big prestigious prizes, and I would really love to see The Safe Keep take it. Now, as far as picking who I think is going to walk away with the prize, my guess is going to be, or my official prediction is going to be All Fours. This is a book that, even though it wasn't my favorite, this is a book that so many women have adored, and it is a divisive book too. So you have that camp that really loved it, and you have that camp that didn't like it. And even though I was on that side of didn't like it, I love the fact that this book is getting people talking. It's getting women to pick up this book because it has so much buzz over it. And isn't that what the Women's Prize is ultimately about? Getting the voice of women out into the literary community and getting women to pick up these books and enjoying them and talking about them and having those discussions around important issues and circumstances that women are talking about. And I think that this book did a great job of doing that, even though my experience on it was of the negative side. It still got me talking, and it still stirred up a lot of conversations. And if a book is doing that, I always say it's doing something right. So there you have it. Those are my official predictions, and I am really looking forward to finding out who takes the prizes. And also, as the women's prizes come to an end, that means that we have the Booker season starting right around the corner. corner. They will be announcing, I think, the long list for that prize at the very end of July. So within the next few weeks, I can start to think about what my wish list is or my predictions are for the long list nominees. Also, now that the women's prizes are over, I'm going to have, I feel, more time freed up in my reading life. So, and also my filming schedule, so I can start to get back to my wrap-ups and some of the other projects that I have in the works. I have been filming little bits and pieces of videos here and there. I just really haven't had the time to sit down and put all of them together. I know that we're going to have Booker content coming. I'm going to start to get back to my wrap-ups, and I have started project reads for videos that I want to use. Earlier this year I talked about highlighting and spotlighting some indie presses, and even though I haven't put any official content out, I have been doing the reading and I have been filming video bits here and there, so you should start to see some of those coming out soon. So lots more to come as we close the women's prize season. And yeah, thanks once again for being on this journey with me. Thanks for all of your interactions and your comments. I loved the conversations that we have had so far this year related to the book prizes, and I'm just really looking forward to continuing these book prize journeys with you, as well as some other hopefully fun stuff coming down the pipe. And until we read again, bye!